Welcome to this episode of Our College Your Voices. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. In the summer of 2020, Paula Burt, on behalf of the college's Associate Accelerated Program, or ASAP, submitted a proposal for ASAP Student Mental Health Stress Relief Kits. The proposal was accepted and $5,000 was granted from the statewide Circle of Ivy. The stress management kits were provided to all ASAP students statewide, and mental health programming was incorporated into Flexible Friday curriculum delivered by trained mental health professionals. The statewide mental health programming was delivered via synchronous Zoom meetings, which continue to strengthen students' sense of belonging within the statewide ASAP learning community. Students were equipped with stress management strategies and tools necessary to successfully persist in their accelerated curriculum and complete their first college degree in 11 months. I am excited to have a panel with us today to talk about this. Let's meet them. And first up is Paula Burt. Hi, Paula.
Hi, Kara. Thank you for having us today.
Glad to do that. Would you tell us a little bit about what you do for Ivy Tech?
My title is Assistant Vice President of K-14 Initiatives in ASAP. And so I'm at Work and Systems Office on your team, privileged to work alongside you and other great systems office, academic affairs staff. I joined the college almost 12 years ago to launch ASAP as a pilot grant program funded by Lumina and the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. It's been a pleasure to work in this role for 12 years.
Wonderful. And it's been great to get to know you over those 12 years too. Next up is Beth Chaney. Hi, Beth.
Good morning, Kara. I am the director for ASAP in Kokomo and Logansport. I too have been with the college for 12 years. And I actually started out as I was a student who enrolled, or I was a student and I hired on as a full-time receptionist at our main campus in Kokomo, and really have been able to embrace education for myself. Again, coming here, I didn't even have my associate degree yet. I had a technical certificate in dental assisting, and then I came to work here and now have a master's degree. So I really love being able to share my story with my students.
I love that. I love that so much. Thank you, Beth. Welcome. And next up is Stephanie Drudge. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Kara. Like Beth, I am one of the directors for ASAP. I work in the South Bend Elkhart area, and my story is a little bit different than Beth and Paula. I've been with Ivy Tech for 7 years. It is my first experience working in higher ed. Most of my experience has been K through 6, mostly the younger ages. And it's funny, when I interviewed for the position, I said, it doesn't matter what age they all are about the same to work with. and I have loved working with ASAP, and this particular project, I think, came at the perfect time for all of them.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And next up is Heather Mcdonald. Hi, Heather.
Kara, thanks for having us.
My pleasure. Tell us a little bit about what you do at Ivy Tech.
I am the director of ASAP on the Columbus campus. So we take care of everything from recruitment through successful transfer out. And it's a great opportunity. I've been with Ivy Tech now for 7 years. Wow, that's hard to believe. And ASAP's the only job I've had at Ivy Tech, but I love it. And I am also a doctoral student at Bellarmine University in Louisville, Kentucky. So that between that and ASAP, I'm very busy.
And you're tackling statistics this summer, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes. Let's not talk about the
Oh, very good. And last but not least is Adam Whirling. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Kara. So I'm actually the coordinator of the ASAP of Muncie and Henry County. Well, I added Henry County where we meet in Muncie, but I steal students from Henry County. I've been with the college coming up on 2 years this November. So I'm the newest one here. I taught elementary for a number of years, and I actually got my education degree from Ivy Tech on the floor that I work at now.
Excellent.
So it's kind of like coming home. It was really comfortable to kind of jump back into there. So
that's awesome.
I have an insider's perspective when I talk and meet with the students. So that's really helpful.
That is fantastic. I love that we have some grow our owns here, as well as some folks who bring us new perspectives. That's part of what's great about the Ivy Tech family. So I have a ton of questions that I want to ask you about what prompted this proposal and just how you've worked it out. So let's start with that question. What prompted this proposal?
Well, I'll start by sharing the framework, and then the team can fill in with the details of how it was executed. every year I take advantage of the call out for proposals for Circle of Ivy. And oftentimes I focus on ASAP. And as this year was the same case. So took the opportunity to the team. We have a monthly statewide team meeting, and we brainstormed ways that would meet student needs, or projects that would meet student needs. We were looking at ideas that could be incorporated in the classroom. And then we gravitated toward mental health and the idea of, we have our students are on, joining our classes completely virtual this last year, and really struggling to help them connect and manage stress and the challenges of completing college in a pandemic at an accelerated rate. And we came up with the idea of pulling the students together in a virtual setting and connecting them with experts in the mental health arena. None of our team members felt equipped really to lead this particular type of enhanced curriculum and programming for our students. And so we decided to join together. And most of the time, Flexible Fridays occur as a team, campus-based team event. But we felt like that from our ASAP student leadership summits that have occurred every fall for the past several years, we've learned that bringing students together so they can meet others across the state that are doing the same thing that they are completing college at the same pace, having the same challenges, is very refreshing and eye-opening. And so we decided to leverage best practices from our fall summit and incorporate those into our Circle of Ivy project. So we planned 5 different sessions where we invited a mental health or inspirational speaker to come in, and we organized those around the senses, where we're leveraging the 5 senses then to help students understand strategies that could equip them to manage stress and be successful in ASAP. We were funded at the maximum level of $5,000. And so then this team volunteered to come up with the execution plan. So I'll let them take over from here.
So yeah, let's jump into that. Once you had the funding, how'd you plan the implementation of the funds?
Well, we knew we wanted to get something tangible into their hands, if you would, just with a lot of different manipulatives and things, but also some informative pieces. And I know Beth was our chair for that aspect of it, so I will let her speak to that in a moment. But we also were able to arrange for speakers, and including some Ivy Tech faculty members, as well as outside speakers. So we had a short timeline to prepare. So a lot of it was based on availability. I think if we were to make this an annual event or something, we would have more time to really source from our own faculty and staff members and bring the best that Ivy Tech has to offer to the plate. But we had phenomenal, it was so fun, just phenomenal outside people attending and participating and leading our conversations.
I'm at the office today. I forgot to bring my kit with me, but y'all were kind enough to provide one of the kits. But would you explain what's included in them and how you got them out to the students?
One of our mental health specialists on Kokomo's campus, Jennifer Johnson, I kind of chatted with her a little bit about what we might send the students as manipulative objects. And so she shared some great ideas that were very inexpensive. And we sent the students their mental health kits, and they included in them a comm disc, which actually was patented by a couple of teachers here in Peru at one of our high schools. And they even presented about the comm disc. So that was included. It gets hot and it gets cold, and it has different pieces on it that have texture. So a student can really, it's small enough a student could hold it during maybe COM 101, and nobody would know they were holding it. So that was the big piece inside there. And then they had a bendable character and chewing gum, bubbles, and the card that Heather had talked about, the 5 senses. And so we had statewide marketing create a business card sized card that they could keep with them, like maybe put it in their lanyard behind their student ID or wherever, so they can remind themselves of things to do if they are in an anxious moment. And then, and Play-Doh. And it was really fun to package them because I feel like it doesn't matter what your age is. It is fun to play with bendy things and Play-Doh. Paula got us bendy people for one of our statewide meetings one year at one of our retreats. And so we mailed those, which was another, I think, exciting piece of the project, because it's fun to receive things in the mail. And so we mailed those out to students. And that is really, like, talking with Jennifer Johnson, that is how we decided what we would order. And it was all very budget friendly.
Well, I will say I loved getting it in the mail. And Beth was kind enough to also include a couple little treats for my puppy. So thank you for that, Beth, when she mailed it to me. But I have the little bendy guy sits next to my chair at work. So if you're ever on a Zoom meeting with me, he's often, getting bent. So I love it. I think it was a great kit. And the card with the 5 senses was really thought provoking. Like I really liked it. So I'll speak to the kid and what I thought about it. But what was the response of the students during the activities? Did they have a favorite? What did you all think about them? Because you all sit in on, you're usually conducting Flexible Friday, but this time you got a little bit of development as well. What did you think about it?
So I have to say, in South Bend Elkhart, we opened up our room, social distance, masked, and such. So we were one of the locations that allowed students to come in if they felt comfortable and they wanted to. So I sat in the room with half of my cohort, and then the other half logged in on Zoom. And so my experience was a little different because I could see their faces and expressions and things like that. One, they loved the kit. They were playing with it the entire time. And I have to say that Calm Disc has been repeatedly brought into the classroom. Students have had them, not during class, because obviously we're virtual right now, but they have brought those with them. And that one piece, getting warm and cold and all of that, is definitely usable. I have to say, we piggybacked off of our student leadership summit. One of the presenters was at the summit, and he was so impactful that we brought him back for this, one of the speakers that we had, and they loved it. He did, and then some of the other speakers did breakout rooms and would randomly send the students to talk about a topic on their own and then come back. And then all of us as directors and coordinators were sent with them, so we could facilitate the conversation while they were in a separate group. I was amazed at how honest they were at some of the more challenging topics. The chat was very active while we were in all of the sessions. Students were sharing things that they might not have shared. Like, they felt very safe and very comfortable with all of the topics, and they were serious topics. We talked everything from suicide to just mental health in general, but there were some hard conversations that were just talked about in an open, comfortable, safe space. They loved it.
I think that was the most rewarding part, was being able to witness the students connecting with other ASAP students across the state and finding commonalities. We have our one-day summit, which is so great, so generously provided by you, Dr. Monroe, and Dr. Elsperman, and we appreciate that so very much. But when that event ends, there's not a follow-up event per se. We may have those conversations back home, but there was no statewide gathering. And now we had 5 of them, and they reconnected and made new friends and found commonalities. And that was fantastic. And who knows, they may meet each other again at their transfer institution and form friendships and have that bond. And I think that is the most rewarding part of all.
So Heather, let's build off of that question. Do you think that you'll join efforts and offer more virtual statewide events as a whole team in years to come?
I think so, especially now that we definitely have that technology. And Obviously, we can do it from our ASAP rooms or they can do it from home. I think that would be a great thing to do. And it's low cost, really, because the infrastructure is already paid for, but high reward. I mean, they really enjoyed it. And so I can see following up on the seeds we plant at our November summit and then continuing that through the rest of their ASAP journey. And I think that's an awesome opportunity. And I honestly can't wait to start thinking about what we can do with it.
I just wanted to add that I personally feel that the mental health series being virtual may have been better for our students to discuss uncomfortable topics, because sometimes it's easier to say what you want to say from behind a keyboard or from behind a computer screen than to be surrounded with 200 other people who are the same age as you, and you don't want them to think you're different. And I think that they all, like Heather said, the chat was, or Stephanie, one of the girls said the chat was just going, and it was the entire time. Every virtual event we hosted this year, the chat was just going. And I think that students really connected, and it made them feel like, oh, I'm not alone in this at all.
Kind of going along with what Beth said. I don't know how it was everywhere else, because Stephanie, you got to have yours come, but our cohort this year didn't feel like a cohort until we started doing some of these mental health meetings. And the cohort method and part of ASAP is like so important. And I just felt so bad the entire year, like they're missing out on this. They're not getting the support. And so the mental health days, I feel like really kind of helped them come out of their shells. They talked about some deep things, and I got to know some of my students and some of their students better. So it was really nice.
And I was going to share a minute ago, the team is sharing how the series impacted and equipped students. But from my perspective, watching my team, my leadership team, learn from this, one thing that we debriefed and got better at is managing the chat conversation, guiding and directing the conversation that occurred in chat while the speaker was leading them through this topic and keeping them on track and just redirecting. So there was that strategy that we perfected as a team. And then the other thing is many of the speakers shared resources that our team, our leadership team, then adopted and was able to continue to incorporate. The final speaker that Stephanie arranged has a journaling strategy that he joined one of our statewide team meetings, trained us on, then introduced it to the students. And it's a tool then that our team, if they choose to, can implement proactively at the beginning of this academic year with this new cohort that's going to be starting in just a couple of weeks, can implement that journaling strategy and incorporate that proactively throughout this next year. So it's just equipping the leaders and strengthening their understanding and the tools in their toolbox that then they can mentor and guide students to successfully completing school in a healthy, physically, mentally, spiritually, on their educational journey.
So I know you had grant funding for this kickoff year. Have you thought of ways to implement the series again, maybe with campus funds, or are you thinking about a new round of proposal for Circle of Ivy? What's the future look like?
One of the things on my to-do list is to schedule a meeting with Kat Straminsky to see if maybe we can partner with Student Life and maybe expand this beyond ASAP to where we have a mental health series, a virtual mental health series for Ivy Tech students who would want to join in. And then we could join efforts and ASAP would participate in that. Which oftentimes is the case on campus. Student Life, ASAP is very involved in student life activities on each campus, but the virtual element has been so powerful. So that's one action item that we're going to pursue. But then Beth has already joined forces with Indianapolis, just in orientation. You want to speak to that?
Sure. So Jason Lavasser, who led our fall statewide student leadership summit, we invited him back as a speaker for our mental health series. And just really enjoyed him. He is really uplifting and fun. I wish I could meet with him every single morning of my life. He just is motivating and in a very fun way. And so John Arbuckle and Mallory Hester from Indianapolis had talked about inviting him in to lead their orientation, but there's a cost attached to Jason. And so we split it and we combined our cohorts last Wednesday night and did a virtual orientation. And it was really cool. And we have actually a DJ who spoke with us. I think DJ joined us for the summit and again during the mental health series, but he actually wrote an ASAP jingle for us. And so that too came with a price, but thanks to the Circle of Ivy on my campus, I was able to cover that for us. And then we'll share that statewide to be used in years to come with our ASAP students. So now we have an ASAP song. And I can't wait to share that with everybody. But we did.
Can you sing it?
I can't sing it, no. If I had it memorized, maybe I would, but no. But it's really catchy and it just really incorporates the expectations we have of our ASAP students. And I will say in the chorus, it talks about check your email, check your email, check your email. Like, because hello, check your email. But so Jason led our orientation and that was really cool to join efforts. And we're going to talk about it at our upcoming ASAP retreat with our team to see if that's something in the future. Perhaps we offer a statewide orientation because it wasn't tailored to our own campuses. We all have the same expectations of our students and the way we go about them might be a little different from campus to campus, but it was really great to have him back again. Like I said, he was a favorite and I want to give a shout out to Gretchen Keller because she helped us so much with scheduling him for all of the events and just with that connection. So we appreciate her efforts as well.
It definitely was a team effort, wasn't it?
I think one of the few silver linings that we find out of the COVID experience that we've all collectively lived through for the last however many months, I've stopped counting at this point, is that we are more collaborative. We are more willing to just jump on Zoom and meet as a group and pull our resources together. That's definitely one of the things that I want to take forward into what the post-COVID world looks like. And it sounds like you all are doing that, which is great. So is there anything else you want to add into today's episode?
We just really appreciate the support of Circle of Ivy. It has funded some really neat experiences for students that have met them right where they're at, met the needs, right where they're at the right time. So we really appreciate that support and look forward to submitting future proposals, of course.
Very good. Well, I will add that I was trying to look while we were chatting because we have not met with Circle of Ivy since episode 3. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Circle of Ivy, you can go to the Our College of Voices website and go to episode 3. And we actually haven't really talked about ASAP in a whole since episode 11 when we did the live from the Student Summit a few years ago. We were about the track. So it has been a while. We need to have another ASAP episode. So Paula, you and I will work together and talk about ASAP some more because it's one of my favorite programs to talk about at the college. But as we know, every episode here ends with a call to action. So the ASAP team wants to thank the Circle of Ivy members for voting for their proposal. The funded proposal served nearly 200 students and 25 leaders and ASAP supporters. The time is near to submit proposals for the upcoming year. So make sure that you submit campus proposals for your innovative idea for ASAP and for all sorts of other programs. And if you're not familiar with Circle of Ivy is Ivy Tech's Women's Philanthropy Circle. So we encourage women to join or renew their Circle of Ivy memberships and think about sponsoring someone else's membership too. And men, you can also sponsor a membership if you would like to do so. It's a great way to be involved with Circle of Ivy and contribute to the work that they do. I'll include links to the previous episodes in the show notes, and we will definitely get some additional episodes scheduled. Thanks again for joining this episode of Our College of Voices. I want to thank the members of today's panel: Paula Burt, Assistant Vice President for K-14 Initiatives at ASAP Systems Office; Beth Chaney, ASAP Director at Kokomo Logansport; Stephanie Drudge, ASAP Director at South Bend Elkhart; Heather Mcdonald, ASAP Director at Columbus; Adam Whirling, ASAP Coordinator at Muncie. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. You can connect with me on Twitter at KNM Tweets. Our producer is Sarah Ferguson. You can reach us by email at ourcollegeofvoices@ivytech.edu. Don't forget, if you're an Ivy Tech faculty or staff member, you can join our Microsoft Teams listener community. I send out instructions on how to do that every Thursday. Our website, where you'll find links to our show notes, is ivytech.edu/podcast. Production assistance for this and every episode provided by Becky Campbell and the Ivy Tech Community College Creative Services team. Our podcast concept is by Matthew Pittman. Theme music and post-production services provided, as always, by the amazingly talented Jen Eads at the Brassy Broadcasting Company. And we will talk to you next time on Our College, Your Voices.